Hey everybody, here we are in Irvine, Kentucky with Wisconsin Central, then Sioux line number 2425. What will soon be the first steam locomotive to grace the rails of the Kentucky and Tennessee Railway since the 1960s. As many of you know, there was a locomotive that was being worked on at the K&T, at the Big South Fork Scenic Railway, but, well, in addition to other things that happened, it wasn't exactly the best suited. So, for a variety of reasons, a long myriad of reasons, it was decided to go a different route in the form of this locomotive. It had been in Enderlin, North Dakota up until about 2009. It got moved to Wisconsin, and some years later it got moved up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and well, that's where we decided we'd go and, load it up in the middle of a blizzard and move it down here to Kentucky to start the whole process of rebuilding it for the Big South Fork Scenic. From the time that Next Generation Rail Solutions people arrived on site in Ishpeming, Michigan at about 2 a.m. Monday morning until we left 4 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, we had over 30 inches of snow. That might sound like a lot. After we left, on the heels of this locomotive leaving, that area saw almost 4 feet of snow. So it got out just in the nick of time. If we hadn't moved it the week that we did, it would have been there until spring. The 2425, despite its appearance, despite the conditions that it has existed in, is actually in really pretty great shape. It is kind of unique among steam engines because everybody has an engine they like or whatever, right? And everybody, for the most part, everybody has heard somebody say, oh yeah, the old 99, it was rebuilt by the railroad right before it went in the park and it's ready to go. No, none of them are. Some were in better shape than others. None, well, there is the 509 in Georgia, but that's a whole different story. None of them were rebuilt and then put into parks. This one's really close. The Sioux line was transitioning to diesels, as railroads often do, right? This locomotive, though, it was one of the locomotives selected to become a part of what the Sioux line called their strategic reserve. In areas that saw high seasonal traffic spikes because of grain or other agricultural things, or areas that saw flooding because, of course, a steam locomotive can practically run in water up to about the bottom of the axles. Some railroads did it even deeper, a different story. Diesels can operate in water about 3 inches above the rail before traction motors start getting really unhappy. Maybe 4 inches, but that's about it. So they sent locomotives out to areas that saw seasonal spikes in traffic as well as flooding. This locomotive went out to Enderlin, North Dakota and ran for about 9 months. It has a new pilot truck frame. It has, new pilot truck wheels, new pilot truck everything for that matter. It has new driving boxes, on and on down the list. It got a new main driving axle and main crank pins 9 months before it exited service. It had a full mechanical machinery rebuild. It's just phenomenal. So it's a great find and a great opportunity for the Big South Fork Scenic Railway in Stearns, Kentucky. So how did this locomotive come to be owned by the Big South Fork Scenic Railway? Well, Clint Jones, the fellow who owned the Mineral Range Railroad up in Ishpeming, Michigan, has been a friend of mine since about 2008. And quite sadly, he passed away earlier this year. There had been on again, off again discussions about this locomotive being bought by the Big South Fork Scenic. And unfortunately, timing worked out the way it did. And, thankfully, the Jones family, Christopher, Pete, and Clint's wife were kind enough to sell this locomotive to the Big South Fork Scenic Railway. And, it's kind of an interesting thing for me because Clint was a dear friend. And then also, I am the person that did all of the prep work and made all the cuts and did everything that was necessary to separate the boiler from the frame while the locomotive was still sitting in Enderlin, North Dakota. And now here it is in Kentucky with me to be rebuilt for the Big South Fork Scenic Railway. Whenever you move a steam locomotive, there's always something. Any big machine, when you venture into the realm of the unknown, well, things can get a little hinky. And the hinkiness associated with the move of this machine, it could have been a lot worse. It really wasn't all that bad, but we didn't know what it weighed. We had notes on a piece of paper. We had the original, Sioux Line, Wisconsin Central, whatever, spec car, but that's engine and boiler. And the crane scale was broken on the crane that came out to lift the locomotive. The entire lift took place in rigging mode, which most people don't know what that means, but basically it means the crane's not weighing stuff. So you have to tell the computer, don't worry about it, we're just hooking crap up. And that's how the chassis was lifted. So didn't know what it weighed until it went over the first scale, which then prompted the addition of several axles and everything that goes along with that. So, but it all worked out really well. There's about a 4-day delay getting here. The boiler is being ready to slide into the shop on the same track as the LNN 152's boiler. The only reason I survived is because of a Milwaukee Tools heated jacket. How good is the Milwaukee jacket? How much did it help me? In 20-degree weather, with just a light overcoat, winds gusting up to 25 miles an hour, I couldn't have that jacket set it over the mid setting.